Hello everybody! Haven't done an update review for a very long time for the Gogogin Does Bottle Show. So this is it, Gogogin Does Bottle Show. Now, when we last left off, we have a large plastic bag that needs to be filled up, right? Right. So let's do it. We have lots of wine tonight, lots of red stuff and pink stuff from my classmate, Miss Foyt. Can't say who. So we put this into the Macy's bag. Macy's. For the Age of Macy's. This is from our classmate Foyt, so this will also be a large bag as well. And the Age of Macy's. This is currently the age of Calvin Klein, because we have a Calvin Klein bag. Now I have a eventual blood donation to pick up, so I'll be picking up more of these bottles. I don't have a button to pick up for the what's it called, the Dream Center. Now tonight's a special night because we're watching Buffy, we're watching the new Star Trek show, the Star Trek cartoon show Lower Decks, and one of the characters coincidentally is a very drunk lady, and she attacks her own crewmate accidentally for battle. And when she's sober, she's serious, but when she's drunk, she's fun. We like her only when she's fun. So, it's almost full. We have to be careful though, we're running out of space. And we want to preserve as much space as we can to fill up as much bottles as we can. And why we want to do that? Because this is going to be the very last bottle collection. Because my mom, she is saying I can't collect bottles because it's making me cough. But it's really, in reality, it's toxins in the air, people smoking, people polluting. That's and it's allergies that's making me cough. So I'm saying to her, no, it's not making me cough. It's making me not cough. So. Now this collection will go to the lower 9th ward. It'll also go to my sister-in-law's education. And it'll go to another charity of some undescript location. But we need to make sure that we need to at least cover $30 worth of bottles. So that's 300 bottles, no? 10 cents per bottle. So 10 bottles, 10 of these little things, these little containers under a liter, goes to making $1. So $30, yeah, 300. Surely we have more than 300 now, do you think? I think. Here's an interesting feature. I'm drinking Coronas now. See? The little box down here. Where my foot is? Where's my foot? There's my foot. Okay, the light's not turned on enough. There. This little Corona box here. I'm tapping. It's going to be the pillar that's holding these things up. I have another Corona box waiting to go. This is coronavirus time, so no offense to people who have actually died of this illness. This is not an insult to your part, but not by any chance. But what I'm saying is that I'm drinking Corona because no one else wants to drink Corona. It's only named Corona because of Krone. Krona, as in the Scandinavian coin unit of money called Krone. Krona. Or the Spanish term Krona. Now this bag here is wasted. The alcohol has burnt through the bottom, as you can see, and the alcohol has burnt through the top and is eating away at it. So we need to replace this bag with another bag. So this bag is done. So the Ghostbuster containment unit bag is done. The old Atari song. Oh. See, we got a little bit of a valve. We got a little bit of a. There we go. So, my classmate is asking me to get pink stuff for her, which is code for rosé. I never drank rosé before because I'm only interested in beer. So I'm transporting myself to different realms of alcoholism. Alcohol stuff. So we have a little bit of a little bit of a gouge here. So this teaches us a lesson not to poke holes in this, so it leaks through here and goes into here. Because the thing is, I want to get fungi into there, and so I can sprinkle it into the bathtub and turn it into filth, turn it into a biological life form. But we won't do that. That experiment has passed. So where do we put this? Maybe we'll put this up here on top of the pyramid. Pyramid of power. So it's going to fall over. Yeah. Make sure it's situated on top properly. Ah! Now it's really tall. It's taller than I am. My head goes up to here, but this actually goes up to here. And I'll show you in a second as soon as I get a new bag. And look, we have a new bag. So this is we're watching Buffy this evening. Had some rosés, had some ales. Had some rosés, had some ales. Then a classmate showed up. He enjoyed some self-care, some white wine, some red wines, had some dinner with us. Talked about our good old days at the activism. This time we won't poke any holes in it. So, here's what I did. I refilled this up with a new bag. As you can see, it's nice and clean. It's nice and solid. It's not gonna. The alcohol hasn't chewed through it yet. The alcohol hasn't chewed through it yet. As you can see, this one here. See, the alcohol is corroding the sides. See, now it's up to here. My head goes clear. If I try to stand straight, the head goes only here. So now we're up there. The next task now is to fill this sucker up. Fill this food up here. And fill you up. So I can fill these two orange bags up. Then it'll slowly start to work on the inside here. Get these little bags here. I'm supposed to fill these two bags up. Then we'll be able to extrapolate more bottles and stuff. I collect from my friend Mimi's. I collect from myself, my own collection. Whenever I buy booze, like for example, this box here, this box of Corona down here, this represents part of the collection. And I also collect from the garbage cans from wherever I go in the world. And it goes to charity. You know, people say that I'm cheap, that I'm a broke, I need the money for myself. No, I don't need the money for myself. Well, this probably can only net me like maybe, let's see, 10 cents a can, because they're less than a liter. So it's just like, what, 500 cans equals $5 or something like that? 50 cans equals, 51 of these bags equals what? 5 cents, so, or $5? Or, yeah, So it's not really much, but basically, the whole point is to prevent this from going into the seas of Australia, seas of the Pacific, and keep the seas clean. Because when you have a huge cloud of bottles, this prevents the light from penetrating it to the sea plants from down below, and this kind of chews up. This prevents the plants from sucking into CO2. 80% of and producing 80% of our oxygen in exchange for 80% of the CO2. So Australia is on fire. This is the message to you. What's your name again? That Aussie dude. Bonzo, Beetlejuice, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. You know, the so-called chef. You know, this is like recycle your bottles, dear chef, because that's what prevents CO2 from entering the atmosphere. And this prevents Australia from burning, and Australia caught on fire this year because we had. I hate to say this, but we had freaky weather patterns, droughts and stuff because there's too much CO2. There's not enough oxygen in the air. There's too much global warming. Everything's on fire. The planets catch on fire, and now Australia burns. And also, this prevents the reefs from growing. This prevents the beaches from growing. Sea turtles from having sea turtle sex. Sea turtles are important to the are important plowers for these sea plants and stuff. Everything's connected. I took an environmental class back in 2005, and like Dinesh, the professor said, everything is connected. All of our ecosystems are connected. I know the world sees us environmentalists as a bunch of mud people who I don't know, Futurama states that we're a bunch of hippies that jerk off in mud or something, or put mud on our privates. That's what Futurama says. But that's not what environmentalism is. Environmentalism is that we want to enjoy all these electronics, right? Up here, electronics and all these cool devices. But we also want to enjoy it in an ecologically sound way. And I know that I live in Alberta, state the land of beef and gauchos and ranchers and ranchers/gauchos and all these people who want to hate and chop down trees so they can plant a bunch of cow for our burgers, or cow ranches for our burgers. But we want to do this in an ecologically friendly kind of way. And that unfortunately is what collecting bottles does. If I look like a goblin digging in the trash for bottles, it's not because I'm cheap. It's because I give a shit about this planet. And that's what being ecological is all about. Giving a shit about this planet, because there's only one planet, unless we colonize another one. Colonize it for what? For our continued disregard for ecology? So we're going to try, all these bags down here are all full to the brim. Especially this guy here, especially that guy down there. We're going to try and fill these two bags up to the brim here. All these ones are all stuffed in. They're ready to burst, actually. They actually have burst. Like in this case, they actually have burst. This can use a few more. This can use a few more bags. These two up here, these three can use a few more bags. This one especially can use another bag or so. Because if it's loose, it has a lot of skin, lots of skin flap, lots of cellulite. Then when you lose weight, and you get all the fat liposuctioned out, and you have a bunch of fat. In my case, me. That's what happens. So we're gonna try and knock down all these bags here. We're now partially done. We're now partially done with the Age of Klein, the Age of Calvin Klein bag here. We want into the Macy's bag here. So I'm planning more trips to the gas station to go and collect all these bottles and maybe fill these three up and start to work on this guy down here. Let's start to fill that guy up down there. I have a huge lot of cases in the my own collection. Some pink stuff, some cheap ass pink stuff that's modernized, not the expensive stuff. And I also have my friend who I collect bottles from her as well. So most likely it will be less this will be less than because of COVID, because the Calgary Stampede was canceled this year. This will be less, very significantly less than before. So we're using the environmental. These are the halogen lights. So we're using the environment. Sorry, I look like a shadow creature here. It's because we're using halogen lights. We want to keep the environment as much as possible. This tube is getting much more larger. It's my hope that we start to make another pillar here, so we can start making a secondary pillar there up there to support continued height. Here we cannot because we have the desk here. We have the table here, so we can't. But here we'll try to make another layer. I'm assuming that these extra layers will consist of 2 pillars, which are these orange bags here, because they're not fat, but they're long. See, look how long that is. See, these will be beautiful long bags. I can assume that these will be, and they'll create another section. I'm gonna try and collect as much as, and then in the fall next summer, or next end of semester, we'll finally end this project. And but for you guys who stayed with me these last, I'm drinking, so it's lots of dehydration there. My spit is very acidic and very thick, not real spit at all. But for those of you who stood behind me these past 5 years, since 2005, when I've formed this channel, when I've formed this environmental project, thank you. And if I've inspired you guys to collect bottles, use gloves when you collect in the trash. Use bugs, or recycle pick up and recycle, or recycle your own bottles. Then thank you. I mean, it means a lot. Or if you feel so inclined, which I'm inclined to do, learn scuba diving. Go on a vacation. Go to some of these vacation places where they spend a few days digging up this shit. You know, this shit will keep on perpetuating. Especially in China, especially in Asia, they don't have. The government's too busy feeding itself with farms and stuff. You know, these are third world countries. These are just the second world countries. China's developing and whatnot, and they haven't developed really. They haven't really focused their attention on environmental purposes, on these other higher industries, higher protections, because they can't, because they're too busy feeding themselves and medicating themselves. You know, if you live in a third world country, the priorities are different than living in, say, California or Canada or Alberta, for example. So, unfortunately, I'm seeing some. I used to live in China myself, so the priorities are completely different. They're slowly trying to, but it'll take years. Just like it took us years. We can't really compare, because there's 2 different worlds. So we try to keep our world as much as possible, and if you can, just volunteer to sign up for a scuba vacation for a few days off the vacation, diving around some reef and cleaning up the shit. You know, the Aussies. I'm sure the Aussies would love that. Bonzo and Beetlejuice, the same person. I'm sure the Aussies would love ecological volunteers from going into their lands. This is pretty much what I'm preventing from going into the oceans, going to our lakes, and some of this collected. A lot of this is collected from my friend. A lot of this is collected from myself. A lot of this is collected from when I did go around downtown. Just from the trash itself. So you can imagine that if this is what I got from the trash, then and people are recycling a lot too. So this is sort of like a double whammy. So we're coming up to our 20-minute mark. So that's it. This is it for this. I'll try to have one more during the summer, and but like I said, if this was a Stampede time, I would be collecting this shit from the Stampede a lot instead of. But that's that, and Thank you for watching our show. We're gonna be right back. Thanks you.